Run number 4. I got a fun game for you guys. Do you think you can handle it?
Sure.
I'm ready.
All right. So we asked our followers, what are the moments that give you goosebumps in the military? For me, sun setting, you hear taps playing over the speakers, immediate goosebumps all over. And we got a ton of answers from people, but I think people mixed up goosebumps with pucker factor a little bit. Some of the answers were more, make your butthole tighten up. Some were true goosebumps. So I'm going to read a couple of these. And if you think it's a goosebumps, you need to say goose. If you think it's more of a pucker factor and they were wrong, you need to say spokes. Okay, like the spokes of a wheel. Okay.
Can we do if it's goose, you honk like a goose instead?
Yes, honk like a goose if you do think it's a goosebumps one. And I'll prompt you when to do it, or you say spokes. So first of all, some common answers that we got were... and what is this one? They're serving hamsters for dinner. A ton of people said this.
I had no idea.
I believe it's a chicken ball. I think it's a Navy thing. It's like a chicken ball cordon bleu.
No. I think the hamster, the cordon bleu. Yeah, those are delicious.
So many people said.
There's a. I don't know if it's still in business, quote unquote, in business. On Lackland, there was a chow hall called the Blue Bonnet. Ooh, beautiful name, the Blue Bonnet Chow Hall. And they would constantly have the hamsters, which is just basically little cordon bleus.
Well, so a ton of people answered, and they're like, finding out we're having hamsters for dinner.
Hamsters for dinner. Honk,
honk, honk, honk. That's goosebumps for sure. And again, I'm reading like the top 5 most common answers, and then we'll get into specific ones. A lot of people said, hearing this word, index. Honk, 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 honk. That means your time in the field is over. You finally get to leave and go home. Zonk. I don't know what that is.
That's an Army thing.
That's an Army thing. It means like
we don't have that term.
You can get released from PT.
Okay, all right. So zonk is a good one.
Yeah.
That's a honker. Reaching for your rifle or MVGs and they're not there.
That's spokes.
Honk, honk, bitch.
That's a big pucker
that's
factor.
big spokes.
Spokes?
Yeah.
All right.
You get
Spokes,
excited when you can't find your MVGs?
I think it's honk followed by spokes immediately. I think it's a mix of both, but that feeling, a lot of people too said reaching for your rifle. And even after you get home, sometimes you'll still reach for it and be like, oh God, okay.
Dude, I used to do that all the time when I first got back. Constantly reach for my leg to see where my pistol was because I used to drop it all the time. Not like drop it, but like just take it off all the time and put it on like the side of the bed or whatever. And so whenever I would just reach for it all the time, and it wasn't there, it felt strange. It's like a part of your body after a while.
But you're right, definitely a spokes.
Speaking of, did they ever find those rifles at Camp Lejeune?
No.
No.
They never did. They're still missing. And the last one. Hey, first sergeant's looking for you. That's spokes. Spokes. A lot of people said that. RK Conrad said PT on your own. That's a honk. Goosebumps. One of the best feelings ever. And sometimes every now and then I would be an integrity violator and go back to my room and not do PT on my own. But I actually really loved going for runs on the trails of Pendleton by myself. Especially
I love that term. Integrity violator is such a great term.
Yeah.
We should make a shirt that says integrity violator on it.
Yeah, we should, honestly. I'm down for that.
My last 2 years in the Army, always PT on my own. I never had to,
Yeah.
I didn't PT with a unit anymore.
Well, you're an officer. You have the luxury. My goodness. H. Herman's 3, you have been randomly selected for urinalysis.
Well, now, listen, this could go 2 ways. If you knew you were doing some funny business over the weekend,
it's assuming.
it's a spoke.
Yeah, it's assuming.
However, if it's a urinalysis and maybe it gets you out of PT and you know you're fine, so you just don't have to PT that day.
Okay. It's a hunk.
I love the good urinalysis day. Urinalysis day for people like me or for people like you, it's basically turned into a stand-up comedy hour. You're like, well, I'm just gonna fuck with people. This is especially when you get some rank, you're like, oh hell yeah, somebody's getting fucked with today.
Oh yeah,
because you know whenever they happen at like 04:30, there's gonna be some little Lance Corporal numbnuts that didn't shave before he came out, and you're like, oh good, we're gonna be out here for a while because you can only look at so many dicks at so much time. I'm gonna be fucking with people all morning.
So it's a nice little mix of both. This is a good one. Justin Hanush said, hearing First Sergeant's master key unlocking the door to your room when you're supposed to be at dental.
Yes.
So you're hiding and that's a spokes for sure. That's
Big
your
time
butthole.
spokes.
Yeah, that's big spokes.
Your butthole goes real tight.
I had that happen to me a few times in college when I was supposed to be somewhere, but I was in my room, and then I heard 2 knocks meant it was my TAC officer, so a captain at the time, who didn't like me very much. So
Yeah.
that 2 knocks was just basically equals you're in trouble.
A little bit of spokes action. Mark Filler said, he just put this in quotes, we're going to remove this guy's toenails. And I'm assuming that means he was sitting there and there was two corpsmen or two doctors or whatever talking to each other as if he weren't listening and knowing that he's going to have to get his toenails removed. That's a spokes, I think, more than a...
I disagree. I am a long sufferer of ingrown toenails. There's something that's oddly satisfying about watching the corpsman or the doctor or whoever put that long needle straight in between your toes and filling it up with Novocaine, and then watching them take the scalpel and go straight down your toenail all the way to the quick. I love it.
There's a new show.
You don't even feel it. Unbelievable.
New show on TLC that I watch after Dr. Pimple Popper. It's called My Feet Are Killing Me. And chaps, when they do the toenail removals, awesome episodes.
These shows sound like a parody of what dumb Americans are. That's what I would watch the shit out of it. But Mr. Brandair said, when you hear the evening prayers over the loudspeakers when you're on deployment, that for sure. Sometimes there was a haze and like a dust storm had just settled and everything was this orange glow, and you just hear the call to prayer come over and everything is dead quiet. Everyone, even in the villages, has stopped what they're doing. And there's just an eerie kind of silence to it that just kind of sends a chill down your spine. That's a honk for me.
That's a pucker factor for me.
Yeah, pucker factor, honk. A little mix of both, honestly. A little mix of both.
Yeah.
Let's see. Rogue.
I like this one.
Our Rogue said, threw a baseball through a huge hangar window playing catch with the boys. Drove around all night looking for a bird to kill and stick in the hole. Goosebumps next morning when they asked everyone. What? Okay.
That is like a perfect example of junior enlisted life. Like, oh, we broke it. What do we need to do? Not
kill
saying
a
that
bird.
Something freak happened. We need to find a fucking dead bird.
Yeah, we need to, or kill one and put it in the hole. Yeah, I love that. And I totally believe that for sure. I'm sure they did that.
And it's a good excuse too, because if I came in and I'm like, what the fuck is that window broken for? There's a dead bird sitting on the windowsill. You're like, little yellow birdie landing on the windowsill.
Oh, yeah.
Classic game of goofing.
Hanchelberg said when a higher up, when you go into their office and they say, go ahead and shut that door because you know you're about to get fucked. That's a spokes. That's not so much of a hunk. Tall Lopez said 27 missed calls on duty. That also spokes. Everybody got spokes and honks mixed up. Mike Sullivan, this is at Dogface Sully. No kids in the streets as you go in, like, going into the streets of Baghdad and there's no kids anywhere.
Yeah.
Because you knew anywhere, if the kids aren't out, you know the parents have pulled them back and you know they know something's about to go down. So you know you're probably about to get in a fire.
I remember being in Carmel one time doing rooftop security, and you could see over the edge of the outskirts of the city where it was like basically a single file, 2 lines of women and children leaving the city, like all at the same time. Yeah. And you were just like, fuck, here we go. Here it goes.
Yep. That was a good one. A PFC commenter said, when Staff Sergeant tells me good job, that gives him a little goosebumps. Honk. Yeah, for sure. Dan Sharp from Pop Smoke at Pop Smoke 7, he was on the show the other week. When the speed loader actually fills the mag smoothly. Yeah, that's a goosebump.
Because those things never freaking worked, man.
Yeah. Somebody replied to him, get out of here with those fairy tales.
Exactly. I don't think I ever saw one of those work correctly.
Yep.
Or what about this one? Whenever you pull your hand into the B case of MRE and the first one that you pull out is the roast beef.
Wow.
Honk. That's a good one. Goosebump City. When you forgot something for a training event and have to tell your team leader, to which someone replied, me during squad live fires when I forgot the pintle for my 240. So having to own up to something, I think there's initial goosebumps when you realize you've done it, and then pucker for sure.
I totally got that.
But,
joke. The references in that one.
This is a good goosebumps one at Willie89015 when the PMI says, I've got all this ammo to get rid of. And that's when you know you're going to get to just fire. Just shoot your weapon till
the barrel melts.
With you don't have to aim. You just whatever. But yeah, there's a lot of good stuff that people said. At Captain Khan's, chocolate, peanut butter, and wheat snack bread. That's what gives you goosebumps in the military.
Goosebumps City, buddy.
Chaps, what's yours? What gives you goosebumps in the military?
I loved it whenever I couldn't be around, like when I wasn't directly involved, but there was an ass chewing of epic proportion that somebody else was getting, and I knew that I wasn't involved with it in any way, shape, or form. Like if I was down the hall and somebody was getting screamed at, and then you hear a door slam, it just made me so happy. I would just be like, man, God, he's in there getting his ass whooped. I love it.
Sucks to suck.
I have Only a couple more. J-Rod 11, the first time you crank one out after boot camp.
All right.
I'm sure that's.
Oh, yeah.
It might be a little bit of both. Who knows? At Mariah Parsons, at Mariah Raylan said, the day I got my DD-214, that for sure is like, holy shit, my whole life's about to change.
Yeah.
This is a huge deal.
That one's kind of a combo. It's like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich of the two because you're like, oh shit, what am I gonna do now?
A little honk, a little spokes.
Yep, for sure, a combo of both.
Goosebumps.
There you go.
Honk,
Goosies.
honk, bitch.
Honks.
All right, let's move on to round 5.